and everything. But one thing that we have that is very, very crucial is human capital. Nigerians are the most brilliant, innovative. They have a can-do attitude to getting things done. We have excelled in all fields, in not just our country, all over the world. But the thing now is that, how do we now capture that talent that we have in our country, especially with entrepreneurship? It is now, being an entrepreneur is like, apart from being an entrepreneur, is like an economic driver, which, adds value creation, innovation, and job creation in Nigeria especially. Now, with this special group of alumni, and we're going to tap from their experience, their knowledge. They're going to share with us what they think should be done, what government initiatives can take place to drive our entrepreneurial spirit. Because with more entrepreneurs in Nigeria, there'll be more job creation, there'll be more innovation, there'll be more economic growth, there'll be more development. So I would like to start with, should we say ladies first? Since we're starting with ladies first, I'll go with ladies first, with Taida. Now, from your own experience and everything, work experience and everything, what do you think are the sectors in Nigeria that we can tap, our entrepreneurial talent, sectors that or you've seen that we believe, and what do you think can be done by government in these sectors? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And once again, thank you for inviting me to speak on this panel. I think I have an interesting background because before going into oil and gas, I started my career at the Central Bank of Nigeria as a research analyst. So we used to go on surveys, we used to go into the field, we used to be able to do all the econometric analysis. So we understood what was going on from a different perspective. So after that, I got the opportunity to go to Dundee and do my oil and gas economics. Then I moved to the oil sector. So in speaking about entrepreneurship, as you said earlier, I think the greatest resource we have in Nigeria is the human capital. And another amazing advantage about Nigeria is just the opportunities. There's so much to be done. But I think what it is almost people are not seeing the opportunities. So it's about how do you allow people to see the opportunities? You teach them how to grow. Well, how do you even start? Being an entrepreneur, it's not as easy as people think. It takes a lot of skill sets. It takes you having a plan. It takes you knowing exactly what gap you're trying to fill. So how do you start? How do you grow it? And then how do you scale it? This is what is important. And by the time you're able to do this, we talk about the benefits. So when you say what sectors, every single sector, there is an opportunity. And that is what I think is so unique about Nigeria. It's like a gold mine. It's how do you allow people to see the benefits. So what are the benefits? You will now have a raised standard of living. The whole idea is when you have people innovating, people now have money, there's liquidity. And automatically, because remember, Nigeria, not everybody is going to get a white-collar job. It is impossible. There's not enough jobs to go around. People have to be able to think outside the box and think, what can I do to earn a living, to even sort of impact? You raise the standard of living, you shape the economy because you have sectors that are growing. There's agriculture. Look, every sector you touch, there's an opportunity. You touch education, there's so much to be done. You look at, as you're being an entrepreneur, you're creating jobs, you're eliminating poverty, and you are developing communities, and this is critical. You look at the SDGs because in your communique, there's also the question of how does this link to SDGs in so many ways. Look at number 4, quality education. People are now learning skill sets that they didn't have before, and they're implementing it into real life scenarios. Look at 8, decent work and economic growth. So yes, I don't have a white collar job, but I'm doing something that is impacting people and making a difference. Look at number 9, industry, innovation, infrastructure. All of this is possible. So the question is the ecosystem there to drive this economic, this entrepreneurial innovation? Is it there? Is it easy? And I think by the time you speak to the other panelists that are in government and already understand the limitations, you understand how we can make this better. But in terms of opportunity, this is, I mean, Nigeria can be the next China. Nigeria will be the next China. It's just, how do we all make this happen?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll give it to Ahmed. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So you've touched on that Nigeria is a land of opportunity, a place where entrepreneurship can be created from different sectors, you know, the creative sector, technology sector, agriculture, which I'm going to get to you very soon, agriculture and everything. So we are blessed. We are blessed, not just with natural resources, as you said, human capacity, human capital too. We are blessed with that. So going to my next panelist, Dr. Yusuf, looking at your work experience, you switched from, I mean, you've had a very good work experience in the Ministry of Energy and Environment, and you've also moved to the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, I would like to ask you 2 questions. One is that what challenges have you seen or what opportunities have you seen, you know, switching from both ministries? And your current role as the project coordinator of the specialized agro-industrial processing zone, you know, how does it create, how do you see the opportunities where it can create entrepreneurship for small and medium scale enterprises? We know that agriculture too can breed, promote entrepreneurs. You know, from your own experience, are there things that government is doing to do it, or are there also things that you feel that government can do that they haven't done? You know, so thank you.
Thank you very much. But I think first of all, I would like to appreciate the organizers of this event. Importantly, before anything, as alumni, I think it does a lot in bringing us together. A lot of us are here in Abuja, some of us are in Lagos and other places, but we hardly see ourselves. Yeah. Like my good friend Ahmed. Yeah. Yes. So first of all, thank you very much. I would like to buttress on some few things that you said and my sister said. We have the human capital. Nigerians are intelligent people. We have the can-do attitude. Yeah. And as she said, there's opportunity in almost every sector. So I like to see myself as the runaway person. Yes, my background is in energy, oil and gas. I've worked there. But I think it's that can-do attitude of Nigerian that made me shift from environment and then to agriculture. And it has opened my eyes to a lot of opportunities that Nigerians can harness. Now, importantly, in terms of entrepreneurship and SMEs, no thriving economy will have government as the highest employer of labor. It's just not the right way to go. Now, in a system like Nigeria also, ease of doing business is not there, we know. It is very difficult, the forex issues, the different socio-economic issues. Now, what is government supposed to do, or what is government doing? Simply is to provide the enabling environment. As you said, Nigerians, we have a can-do attitude. Once you provide them with the enabling environment, you would see them thrive. So what are we doing as government, or what have I seen as opportunities? A lot has been said in the oil and gas industry, environment and climate. So let me delve on agriculture. What is agriculture? And what can agriculture do to Nigerians? Now, oil has been the main source of our revenue. 90% forex and physical earning 60%. And what is the highest amount we've earned in oil? 35 billion during President Jonathan's time. I'll give you an example. A country like the Netherlands, 22 times smaller than Nigeria, earns 65 billion euros annually from agriculture. They don't have enough as much or as vast arable land as we do. They don't have the human capital. not even the can-do attitude of Nigerians to be able to do back-breaking labor. So that tells you the enormous potential in the agricultural sector for us. But unfortunately, there's a lot. Looking at the FAO statistics, if we want to do agriculture, we need to mechanize it. First of all, we need to start looking at agriculture not as a way of life, but as a business-making venture, profit-making venture. Currently, our tractor density is 6.8 per 100 square meter. The average is supposed to be 200 tractors per 100 square meter. So there's a lot we need to do. But looking at the Netherlands tells you also there's a lot of opportunity. So what is the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone program? It's an inclusive and sustainable agro-industrial development program aimed at diversifying our economy with agriculture, simple and straight. We've been talking about mono economy. How do we diversify? This is the answer for us. And what are we doing as the SAPZ, or what's the government doing? There's a collective approach to industrialize the sector. And how do we intend to do it? First of all, ensuring that business is easy, de-risking investment in agriculture and reducing the transaction cost. Our oil and gas business, like we all know, if I am given an oil well, it's a good business. I'm going to jump. Why? Because there's a seismic data. I know the amount of oil I have. I know when I'm supposed to break even. There's a lot of economics around it, but you don't have that in agriculture. You have a lot of force majeure, a lot of ranging from insecurity to climate change to the type of harvest, to yield, to lack of mechanizations and end markets. So what we try to do, or what we're going to do, is we're providing catalytic infrastructure that we can leverage a lot of investment and also reduce transaction cost. I'll tell you what we did in Kura, in Kano. Per hectare to irrigate your land, an average farmer would spend 200,000 to 300,000 naira, just irrigation, because you need to buy the solar pump, you need to put the PMS, there's also maintenance costs. So we built a dam and an irrigation canal and charged them 9,000 naira per hectare to irrigate their land per season. So we've reduced it from 300 to 900. Whatever amount you put on a farmer, it reflects on the crop price. And it's also disincentivizing to reinvest or to go back to that business. That is one thing we're doing. So this is from the production to processing. Production I'm touching now. So these are the kind of infrastructures we put in place to leverage and to reduce the transaction costs. Now, what do we do before we go to processing? Post-harvest loss. If you're conversant with the Benue area, you would see during the tomato and orange and mango seasons, there's a lot of waste. So what we try to do is to bring on board aggregators and storage facilities. We have a post-harvest loss window between 30 to 50% of every season. If you're able to close that gap, you virtually increase food production between 30 to 50. So that is very good. Now processing. Since time immemorial, we've just been producing and exporting. I'll give you an example of the chocolate industry. It's a $100 billion industry. The main feedstock is cocoa. 70% of the world's cocoa is being produced by 4 West African countries: Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire. And we only get 2% of that $100 billion industry. Why? Because we have not added value. We don't add value, which is why we deemed it paramount to ensure that whatever we produce, we process in country. So that is why it's the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone program. We're supporting from production to processing. We look at each state starting from 8 pilot states. We have a portfolio of $538 million to provide this infrastructure. We look at crops of competitive advantage, and then we try to support those crops. Cocoa, we're doing that in Cross River. So basically is those leveraging infrastructures to attract investment and processes, and also to reduce their investment cost. For an average rice miller, he needs a water treatment plant, cheap and affordable power, which is the most expensive OPEX that you have. So what we do is we provide you with power at an affordable rate with a repayment period of 25 years. So we break it down for you. So that means you become competitive in the market and you break even. But yes, we need to diversify. We need to look at other sectors. We need to grow SMEs. But how? Government has to provide the enabling environment. Make business easy. Forex, even if you produce some of your raw materials, you need to buy outside. There's also Forex issue. So these are the kind of issues we're trying to tackle to ensure that there's ease of doing business in the country. As much as we want our people to diversify, government needs to come to make the environment enabling, the ecosystem for our people to thrive. So there's a lot of opportunities, as my sister said, in every sector, but importantly, agriculture, this sector. Going back to the production, I did mention the tractor density. Now, with the SAPZ program, you can now comfortably invest in buying tractors to lease because you know they're clustered farmlands, registered farmers, you already have your off-taker. You have people that would lease, as opposed to just buying a tractor and you're not sure where it's going to go. The same thing with seed systems, SMEs on seed production, storage, logistics. So there's an array of business around that cluster. And importantly, what we're doing towards eradicating poverty, we look at peri-urban and rural areas to provide this dedicated infrastructure. So virtually, we've transformed that rural area to a secondary city because it has power. There's a lot of economics going around, different trading around the clusters. So we've basically changed the narrative and the dynamic in those sectors. So Nigeria, we have an opportunity, a vast untapped opportunity, looking at what the Netherlands, the Thailand, and the Malaysians are doing, especially in agriculture. We've done a lot in the oil and gas industry. We must give kudos to ourselves, but I think it's now time to look at another sector to see how best we can harness its opportunities for our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Yusuf. It's very encouraging to hear all that. Before oil was discovered, agriculture was our major sector that was giving us wealth in this country. And we are blessed with arable land, as you said. And as you discussed, you said that the things of encouraging development in the agriculture sector following Netherlands, as you said, we are blessed. We're even more blessed than Netherlands. And the sky is the limit for us, especially if we maximize our potentials. So, you know, the risking the risk in the agricultural sector so that people can invest, reducing the transaction cost. I also like the part when you talked about storage facilities for post-harvest, especially when you mentioned Benue. When I came to Abuja the first time, I don't know, some of you have lived there all your life. So when I saw a mango, you know, I live in Lagos. The mango, we buy mango is as small as this in Lagos. So when I came to Abuja and I saw a mango, I know most of you, a very huge mango. I thought it was genetically altered or something. They said, no, they didn't put anything in it. That it's just how mangoes are produced in Benue. I said, this is a mango. And, you know, people in Lagos hardly see that kind of size of, I don't know if anybody calls on that. You see a size of mango as that big. And you now hear things like the mangoes cannot be shipped to Lagos, there are no storage facilities, that it can be spoiled. You know, so all these things, it just shows that we have humongous potentials in our country, especially when it comes to agriculture. Well, thank you very much for that. So, Dr. Ahmed, the next question goes to you. You have a lot of experience, especially, are there any models or what do you think government can do to grow entrepreneurship? I've listened to some of you, like I watch you online, I follow you online. I know that, you know, apart from personal development, you try to coach people on personal development, how you can empower yourself and everything like that. Are there any international models we can follow? Or what do you think? Is there something government can do to improve entrepreneurship? Thank you.
Yes, I believe in Nigeria, apart from oil, we have so much potential in manufacturing, the industrial sector. If you look at small businesses in Nigeria. There are around 50 million of them. And in these small, medium enterprises, you see a lot of entrepreneurs. And 84% of new jobs are created by small and medium enterprises. And then they contribute almost 50% to the GDP. So this is the size and the contribution of entrepreneurship in Nigeria, which is a great incentive or motivator for the government to do more in the area. If you look at the manufacturing sector, what made of the manufacturing sector is 90% these small and medium enterprises. Unfortunately, most of this entrepreneurship, they die at infancy. Within the first year of their existence, they die. 95% of them. The question is, before government comes in, we have to understand the ecosystem. What's happening? Why these enterprises are dying? Why are they not translating to economic independence of Nigeria? In the last quarter of last year, Nigeria, we imported things worth 11 trillion naira. And what we exported was 6 trillion. So we're importing 11 trillion and exporting 6 trillion. So you can see the terms of trade is unattractive. We're importing more than we're exporting. And hence, the naira is depreciating by the day. Why we have this potential of entrepreneurs in Nigeria that can produce? Because for us to save the naira, we have to produce. There's no magic pill. There's always a magic process. And the process is produce. And like the Pareto principle that says 80% of your problems are caused by 20% of the causes. So all these problems are caused by very few causes. And like in one of my favorite principles that says, the one thing principle. Everything you see in Nigeria comes down to one thing. Every problem is caused by one thing. In your life, in all our lives, anything you want to solve in your life, there is one thing you need to change. What's that one thing? So for me, I will say starting from the educational system. Because I'm a professor in the university, I know the importance and the value of academic institutions in shaping the economy, social perspective of it, political aspect of it, in all ramifications. If you want to shape society, you start from the educational system. We have educational system in Nigeria where you grow your career from assistant lecturer to a professor without you innovating and creating anything. And that's an academic institution that's supposed to create and innovate. And we are not rewarding innovation. If you look at studentship too, you see students being given degrees without creating and innovating anything. Even in those courses that are supposed to be creative courses, like technology, engineering, software engineering, things like that. So our academic institutions are not equipping the people to become creative so that we can solve problems and add value so that we reduce the level of our importation and we can produce more and save the naira. And another perspective of that one thing, if you are not picking education, I will give you a second option, which is the political system. We equally have a political system that does not reward ideas, vision, creativity, and innovation. If you are running for a president, you are running for a governor, no one will vote for you because you have the ideas. But people will vote for you if you have the money. So our political system, educational system, they are not rewarding innovation and creativity. They are rewarding things that hold no value no weight. And this is translated into seeing the depth of these entrepreneurships. A small and medium enterprises, they die because of several reasons. The first reason why entrepreneurship or small businesses die at infancy is lack of investigating the market. This perhaps they have not been equipped, they have not been trained from the academic institutions. Even if they have investigated the market to identify the gaps, they don't have the adequate plan. So entrepreneurship die early stage because they don't investigate the market. Number one, they don't plan for the business, and they don't have enough capital to start. Some young people, when they have small money, 1 million, 2 million, they say want to start a business. I know that some businesses, 1 million is okay. But you have to make sure that before you start, you have sufficient capital to begin. And that's where the government can come in to respond to your answer directly. In providing access to finance. Another reason why this entrepreneurship die is the lack of the right environment, the bad location. Most of them are not present on the internet, or there is no advertisement, and as a result, they lose the market and they die. Another factor is they want to grow so fast. Just like human beings, the growth pace is gradual. Young people, when they start a business, entrepreneurship, they want to grow so fast, so quickly. And that also leads to the crash of these businesses. And also trying to be rigid. You started with one idea, and then there is a better idea. You don't want to accept the new idea. You want to stick to your original idea. That being rigid is also a cause for this death of businesses. And most entrepreneurs, they have mistaken the word entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about creating idea and innovating the idea. Creativity is the idea. Innovation is actually putting it into practice. So what you see is young people start opening a small kiosk, provision store. They say they are entrepreneurs. They may not be fixing any problem or solving any problem. They will think they are being entrepreneurs. So the government can come in into sensitization, awareness of what is entrepreneurship, so that people understand this is what they're supposed to do. There are external factors. We talk about inflation now, resulting from naira devaluation by this current administration and removal of subsidy. The inflation is at its highest. 27% inflation. How do you expect a new businesses to thrive under inflationary period? That's a very difficult thing. That's not even attractive to investors when they look into the country. Before they evacuate their currency, it must have reduced in value. Every day inflation is eating the value of the currency. So investors don't want to come to a country where the inflation is at the rise. Deficiency in infrastructure. Government can come in, especially in the area of transportation system and electricity. We've been talking about how to enhance electricity access. Without adequate transport system and electricity, there will not be entrepreneurship. There will not be production. Naira will continue to plummet. And we continue to go down the drain as a country. So for me, the government can come into investing in critical infrastructure. But my final message to all of us and to every entrepreneur in Nigeria is that despite the physical challenges, the constraint we have is not an excuse for us to give up, because we have several examples of success stories in Nigeria. Despite your physical constraint, through your thought, through your action, you can influence, you can change. It's just like the story of the old farmer who wrote a letter to his son who was in the prison. He wrote a letter to his son in the prison. He said, "My son, this year I cannot plant a potato because I cannot dig the farm myself. I know that if you are around, you will have helped me dig the farm. So therefore, this year I cannot plant potato." He sent a letter to his son who was in the prison. And then the son wrote back to the father. He said, "Dear daddy, don't even try to dig the farm, because that's where I bury the money I stole." And in the process of sending that letter to the daddy, or to the dad, the police intercepted the letter and read the letter. And the police went to the farmland and docked the farm.
My God.
The following morning, the son wrote the letter to his dad. He said, "Dad, that's the best I can do from here. You can go ahead and plant your potato." You see, the moral lesson of this short story is that you can imprison someone, but you cannot imprison their ideas and their wisdoms. Despite the physical challenges we face in the country, we still can tap into these wisdoms and ideas to find a way out. You know, despite the physical challenges, we can change the outcome. And this brought me down to my final message, which is responsibility. We all have to take responsibility. When you ask me the question, what government can do, that's also part of responsibility, because anytime we talk about entrepreneurship, national development, energy, security, we blame the government. We point at the government. We say, what government can do? What government can do? When are we going to look at ourselves and point at ourselves? What can we do? That's sense of responsibility. Taking responsibility of the situations. What can we do to change it? And like I said, my final message is about the entrepreneurship, which is to campaign for it. A lot of young people will send me messages, their CVs, give me job, I want to come to Abuja. I put a challenge on young people. I say, you either send me your CV and be on the waiting list, or you give me a business proposal. I will fund your business as long as it's not more than 200,000 naira. And up to today, nobody has sent me a business plan. But I receive CVs every day, white collar jobs. You see, I told them, money is like insect. It follows light. Where there is light, there's an insect. So you as an individual, as a young person, you have to attract the money. You don't chase money. If you chase money, money will run away from you. You have to attract it. You have to make it come to you. You have to become the light, and then the money will come to you. The insect will come to you. If you look at billionaires in the world, in Nigeria, they are a practical example of becoming light, and then the money will chase them. If you look at likes of Dangote, what are they doing? They are solving problems. Becoming a light is solving a problem. If you look at Bill Gates, if you look at Zuckerberg, all these people, they solved the problem, they became light, and money chased them. We have the population. All our problems that we have been complaining are opportunities. We can convert them into opportunities to create businesses. We are a large consuming population. We consume a lot. We spend a lot. So for me, despite the government is doing so much to incentivize entrepreneurship by not taxing businesses, as long as your business is not up to 25 million turnover in a year, you don't pay tax. That's a very good thing. But is that translated into growth of the industry? The answer is no. Because you are doing one thing, but the external factors we talk about insecurity, we talk about the inflation, the forex issue, the external factors that will undo whatever government is. The government is doing money for not collecting taxes on these small businesses. But these businesses are not growing. So you are losing the revenue. So I believe government is doing a lot, but it's not enough. We also have to come in to complement the government by taking responsibility. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that very brilliant submission from all three of you. Dr. Ahmed said a lot. Our orientation has to change when it comes to education. Some of us are educated not to be entrepreneurs. Maybe that orientation has to change to embrace entrepreneurship.